Hey YouTube, this is React City. I'm Johnny.
I'm Rose.
I'm Nikki.
And this is the React Cast, episode 10. So, big number.
Yes.
Yeah. So, right before we get into it, I just want to make mention. So, whenever I'm watching these back on the editing platform, and I notice little things. I don't know if it bothers the audience or not. And something that bothers me when I'm watching is how awkward it looks because how scrunched in we are. It's
oh, really?
This,
oh, really?
Like no, don't bother
don't
me.
move?
So, I just decided for this episode, I'm not even going to look all the way at you guys. So I'm just going to be like, you're talking to me? You're talking to me. Tell me how weird that is. Because it looks weird to me when everyone's like... Oh, sorry, you say something? It just seems weird.
Yeah.
So I want to see how this looks.
Okay.
So that will be an experiment for this episode.
Let's do it.
All right? So starting off with a fun fact. Remember how in the last episode you were saying that didn't quite seem like CG with Vinland Saga when Badger and that one guy were fighting?
Yes.
So it wasn't CG, but it also wasn't quite 2D. It was rotoscoping.
Yeah, that's what I knew it was a thing. Like it wasn't just 2D, but I didn't know the what
verbiage.
it was. Yeah, it wasn't gonna come to my head.
I've heard of that word, but I don't know what is it. How's it different from?
I'll say it right here.
Okay.
So Adrian Smedjor broke it down. He said, this is not CG, this is rotoscoping. That's why it's so fluid and natural looking. Mappa uses it a little bit with AOT for movements. Basically, the movement is made by real actors before being adapted into the animation.
Oh wait. Okay, I see. So CGI is like I thought that had
3D.
It's completely 3D. I
3D.
thought it had. You could do the thing where the little green
Motion
dots,
tracking. Yeah,
motion
you can
tracking.
do that too.
That's also part of CGI, or is that rotoscoping?
You can do the CGI with that.
The thing is, you're breaking down into details. So when we're watching an animation and we say, hey, that's CG, usually we mean this is something that's an entire fake three-dimensional space that's been rendered. Whereas with rotoscoping, it's kind of, you take the actor and then you paint over it to look like it's animated.
Okay.
But it's not really.
I see.
Whereas in movies, you can also have something that's CG in the background. It doesn't have to look like it's animated, it's to look like it's real life. It's kind of like just the specifics, right? Am I right on that?
Yes, I would agree with that. Yes.
That's my general understanding.
That's really cool. I think I like rotoscoping then. Because I was looking at that scene and when you said, oh, CG, it didn't feel like CG to me, but it was so like
Real movement.
real.
I
Yeah, it was great. And I wonder if the scene with Thorfinn fighting Snake, yeah. With that scene where remember that like fluid scene, he just
Yeah.
that scene was really good too. And I wonder if that one is like they had like a real karateka.
Ain't no way.
I would say no, just because of the way the animation looked. But
Yeah,
it
it's
probably
a little
definitely referenced something.
Yeah.
As good as 2D is, when someone goes into an animation and they have an actor behind it, it just elevates it to another level.
I'm trying to think, like, this guy, Adrian, says they used it in AOT. So I'm trying to think, like, what scenes could they have used rotoscoping? Because they're flying through the air with these, like, and you have Titans. Maybe the Titans? But they're slowly moving. It doesn't seem like you need... True. They are kind of creepy. I guess it could be a real person.
When they're walking up the stairs?
Really?
Well, it says movements and rotoscoping, so maybe...
I was gonna say some of the movements we were seeing looks very deliberate. I don't know if it's that they just slowed down the scenes. They look really slow. It could be just they slowed it down, or it would make sense looking at it that okay, that could be rotoscoping because like going forward to stand up is a real thing someone would do. Anime doesn't normally do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you understand that scene that just happened?
The little things.
Yeah, it's like little movements that we do that
Like when
don't
Tyke
always translate.
goes to sit down when she falls onto the bed. I would imagine those are rotoscoping because of how
fluid. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I didn't even consider it, but looking back at it, it's so beautiful. But when you're watching it, you're watching for another reason. You want to see the plots, you want to see what they're doing.
Yes.
To really admire it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mentioned in the Vinland Saga episode that I look forward to reading the comments. I just thought it'd be funny to first go over some of the funnier ones that I found, and then talk about why you think they have this response.
Okay.
So I'm not going to name any names, of course, but if you go there, you should be able to find it. I may censor some things.
Okay.
So one is, I guess she's an important character and all for development of the show. But holy crap, her death does not need to take up half the episode. And then the reply was, shut the hell up. It was funny. And then, legit never cared about her or her dead husband, nor the simp. So obviously that's referring to Einar there at the end.
Yeah.
So these are all new characters that are getting this response. Do you think it is only because they are new that they're getting this response, or do you think the story legitimately isn't as good as the previous season story?
I think go ahead. We're just twinsies today. Like, we keep talking at the same time. I was gonna say, I think I stand by our thoughts about it from the start, which was, it's just a different experience. Like, in the beginning, or maybe not even in the beginning, it was like seeing a character go through a lot of things, but like character development. But this season, we actually see the development actually move very quickly. From before, it was like a stagnant character but he was going through so much that he is developing, but not in a good way. But there was so much action, he kind of got distracted from that point of the story. And then this season is much more focused on that point of the story, of the character development. And I still feel that way even to this point, even though the last episode we watched, I forgot what episode number. The last episode we watched 20, was kind of hinting to maybe more fighty, you know?
Yeah.
Fighty, less pacifism.
But yeah, I would just say, with that in mind, I think I understand why people might. We always thought, people are not going to be happy with less fighting.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't know. I'm really distracted right now. I'm sorry.
What are you trying to say?
Because you're writing.
Oh, I was just writing down things I thought of that I wanted to bring up.
Oh, okay, sorry. But I'm also distracted by her. She keeps looking over at you with a side eye.
Why is that? Is it really that distracting that race?
It's because you're like, yes. You're like not looking at the paper at all.
Yeah, I've been working on not looking down. So
Yeah, it's fine. It's just her. I blame her. No, I don't remember what it was. Yeah, I think that's enough.
You're saying that the fighting drew in a lot of people.
Yeah. So this season being so different, I can understand people just being impatient. I know people feel it, especially with the intro of the second part of the season. People feel fight's coming, it's here, but they're like keep getting just pulled away from it, and they're getting impatient. So I can see why.
Yeah. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say I feel like in regards to which season is if one season feels better than the other, it feels like the continuation of a story. So it doesn't bother me at all, like the continuation of someone specific's story. So the person that they were has developed and has changed, so the story around them has changed.
Yes.
So that in that respect, it doesn't bother me at all, because we've continued walking. We've moved forward. We're not gonna do exactly what we used to do, and that's fine with me. I like stories like that, where you can look back and you see like, oh, this is different.
It's a journey.
Yes, it's a journey.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've noticed that these journey type shows tend to have a reaction like this usually. I feel like there was a little bit of it for Attack on Titan, and I'll go back to that later. But yeah, so I think a part of it is because there's new characters. When a new character comes onto the screen, they're treated with way more critique, especially in the second season. Because once you come in, you're coming in to taking the spot of other characters that used to be there. And you're second against Askeladd and his entire party, against Thorkel, Bjorn. And Einar, he's never really does anything that the audience wants to see, So I'm thinking that maybe that's a part of it. But then also, you made up a very good point with combat draws in a lot of people. And with season 1, a lot of people came only for the combat. And so when season 2 came around and they started getting sidetracked by the story with Arnheid and Einar, it's like, but I want to get back to what was interesting to me last season. It's like that the show was never necessarily about that. I saw a very funny comment where someone said, in quotes, "I don't like violence, but it sure looks cool." The author. That's pretty much what it is.
Yeah, that's funny.
This is very accurate.
And also, I think a part of it is something like I like to think of as Skylar syndrome. I don't think either of you have ever seen Breaking Bad, but there's a character called Skylar, and notoriously disliked in the fandom, mainly because she detracts from the main character in his pursuit of making a name for himself and doing illegal things. But the character is very cool when he does those illegal things. But Skylar, his wife, just keeps getting in the way of it or doing things to stop him. And so the fans are like, if she wasn't there, everything would be fine. Which in some cases, I guess is true. But if you take a step back out of the story and look at it, it's like she's trying to be a good mom.
Yeah.
And she doesn't want him involved in all this illegal stuff. Yeah. She's the only rational person in some of these situations.
Yeah, it's like, what woman would want their husband to be like, yeah, go ahead, drug train, go ahead.
Yeah, and she did screw up a lot of situations, but perfectly understand in a real world situation why she would act the way she does. She isn't perfect. She does make a lot of mistakes. She does do a lot of things bad, but the main character isn't perfect either. Yeah. You know, and I feel like this is something I have with Einar and Arnheid, where this is a real situation that probably happened to a lot of people in the world or throughout time. And yeah, it's annoying, but Thorfinn, he doesn't have a huge amount of personality yet. He's still working on himself. It makes sense that his attention would shift, like the audience attention was forced to be shifted towards Einar and Arnheid, because they're his only outlet to normality.
Yeah. I think you just made me think of, in the case of Breaking Bad, I think part of the problem kind of makes me wonder if it's just an artist's choice, because I can see that being an artistic choice, like a writing choice, to have this. First, like, you have this guy, the main character has drawn you into this very twisted world of like mindset, and then the audience's like immersion is being broken by a normal person. That's what I think about is happening. But you could also see that like artistically as like trying to draw contrast. So that would be interesting to watch. Like, you're in this world of, oh, this is cool, but it's also wrong. Yeah, you know, and for some people who want to just enjoy the cool side are getting like not enjoying this break from immersion. Yeah. That's what I was thinking about for that. But I also thought about for what you said earlier with Thorfinn, like the change. I forgot what exactly you said. The journey. Yes. I was thinking what made it feel okay to me. Well, number one, I enjoy Thorfinn as a character. And the fact that even though we were introducing new characters and introducing new like problems with entirely different way of dealing with problems, it still was Thorfinn almost every episode. Yeah, I feel like there wasn't an episode we didn't see Thorfinn. I think maybe one we were like, I forget where we were. I don't remember, but Thorfinn was like. Can you think of one episode where he wasn't there?
It was the Canute episode when we first see Canute.
Yeah, I knew there was something. Yeah, so we went away from Thorfinn, but it was Canute. So he's like a like, what is it, like a staple character. Yeah. Of course we want to see him. But Thorfinn was always there, so it felt like, no, I'm still with Thorfinn. it's about Thorfinn. And if they were to kill Thorfinn, then I would probably check out.
Well. I mean, yeah.
No. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this also makes me think of, have you seen shows, I know you just made a very good example for one that didn't necessarily make a great transition, but have you seen a show that you thought, wow, every new character came at a good time, it didn't feel like an interruption, and you immediately liked them? Some examples that I thought of immediately were Bakano. But I think Bakano kind of cheated in that you never knew who the main character was. Yeah. So everyone who came in, and they all had such zesty personalities. It's like, wait, who is this? Oh, that's interesting. I want to see. So it was more about seeing the chaos on screen than the characters. But yeah, any shows you can think of that did a really good job of that?
I'm trying to think of any show that has the chutzpah to just bring in an entirely different cast.
Attack on Titan. Season 4, we just had a whole new group of people.
This is true. Yeah. Attack on Titan did it well, I feel like. But at the same time, I was still waiting to get back. Yeah. Like, I was enjoying it, but it still felt like almost an intermission where I was just waiting to get back to what I was watching before.
Agreed.
Yeah, and it felt like, at least to me, that underneath the surface you knew something was going to pop off. You just didn't know when, you didn't know how.
Yes. The one I think of is Hunter.
Oh, yeah.
Every time they've introduced new characters, they have been important to me. Like, even this last episode, we're on 142. They introduced a new threesome group. Who are, at first, is like, whoa, new character faces that are actually staying on screen for long periods of time. But then immediately, by the end of the episode, it's like, okay, we're going to see more of these guys. Yeah. They do well, I think, Hunter x Hunter, with bringing in new characters, making them interesting and different, and making you feel like you're gonna be here. You're going to keep these, hug them.
Yes.
Care for them.
Yes.
But yeah.
Do you think My Hero kind of gets away with that a little bit? Because they introduce a lot of new characters in My Hero, but I feel like a lot of them fall to the wayside.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you throw a fistful and a couple
See which ones stick. Yes. That's what I would say.
Yeah, with Boku no Hero Academia, I don't think they don't, when they put a new character in, I expect them to leave. So once again, it's like the Attack on Titan thing where I'm just enjoying them being here for the time being, and then I'm gonna say goodbye to them later. It's like a grandparent who has their grandchildren come over. It's like, I'm enjoying this, but I can't wait till you leave.
I don't know if they say that exactly, but yeah, that's the idea. Yeah. I was actually gonna say I have a little twist to your opinion for My Hero. I'm not exactly waiting for them to leave so much as I'm like,
I just know they'll leave.
No, it's not. It's like I don't have expectations for them. That's what I have. So they're there. So that's why the last season for My Hero, when people actually died, as what? This is My Hero.
Oh yeah,
you forgot. And people died. People leaving, people quitting. That is big to me because that show to me has been. These people don't die. Even way back when I don't want to say who died, that first big death that we had, I was like, oh my gosh, they actually killed somebody. It surprised me because I didn't have that expectation in My Hero. I felt like I just didn't have standards for what they would do. I didn't feel like I didn't expect from them. I was just like, they're there to fill in some room, to fill the little crevices of the world, So when they actually remove some, it's like, oh, that was an important one, I guess.
Yeah.
And it also doesn't help the art style. There's some shows that with the color palette, growing up, there's just some color palettes that implicitly make you feel like this is a kid's show.
Yeah.
You're not going to see blood, gore, or anything.
Yeah.
And My Hero, it's not quite all the way there, but it was light enough where it felt like, oh, this is pretty cool. And then with the last episode of season 1, it felt like these guys are so dangerous, but still as bloody as everyone got, everything was fine.
Yeah.
So then when that guy died, it's like, wow, okay, tone has changed. That entire arc, this tone was weird.
Yeah.
Because with the whole overhaul, I think.
Yeah.
But I feel like sometimes when I think of My Hero, I feel like the author was really trying to make a universe kind of like DC or Marvel. Because it just shows everybody.
Yeah.
That's true.
Constantly. He's so good at making new characters, and there's no reason to make so many.
Yeah, and characters, he made some characters become more important to you, or you feel more for them after their death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if I've asked this before. Have you seen a character in My Hero that you wish you could see more of? You want him to come back? Because for me, it's the Wind guy.
Wind guy. Yeah.
He was intense, powerful, and I feel like he would fit right in with the current situation.
I can't remember him.
He wore really big, whatever it was. Actually, I don't. That's okay.
He hated Todoroki as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember him.
I was gonna say Crust, but then I'm like, I really like him for some reason, but I have no reason to want to see more of him either.
Yeah. I understand that. Yeah, he was a cool character.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking back, when I was looking up images for that quiz that we did where he was in, I saw that apparently we had seen him before on the stage when everyone's introducing themselves as most popular in Japan, and he was very emphatic and emotional over Endeavor and everything he was doing. So he was just a really wholesome guy in the background this whole time. But
I don't really, I can't really think of one because even though My Hero only ended a couple months ago, it's all disappeared out of my head. Shigaraki who? Anyways.
Yeah. But one day we will see more of Mustard.
Mustard. I feel like he could actually come back because we've seen Moonfish during the jailbreak.
There was a little still in the intro. Remember when we watched the whole intro? There was a darkness, and then a guy came out of the ground.
Yeah, I still think that was Moonfish.
I thought that was Moonfish.
Same.
But we never saw anything.
That was My Hero intro. I was just thinking maybe that was My Hero intro. Surely not, because we didn't see anything about that scene at all.
Why did they show that?
It was so random.
I don't know.
You sure it was My Hero?
It was My Hero.
It was My Hero.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was only Moonfish that seemed to be showing someone who's completely insane. Going through the world. But we never saw anything.
No.
Could have been a representation of Shigaraki just being
just coming
creepy.
back, maybe.
Resurrecting.
Maybe.
Overall, he was kind of crazy.
No, not come out of the ground crazy.
No. We didn't really get a whole lot on him. Something else I wanted to bring up is some celebrities really like anime, and I wanted to know if you could possibly guess some of these. But first, I wanted to bring up a fact I just learned.
Okay.
Apparently, Tobey Maguire, the guy who plays Spider-Man and Sam Raimi, apparently he loved anime and he wanted to make a mecha anime. Apparently he bought the rights to the Robotech movie, but then he lost the rights to Sony. Well, maybe he didn't buy the rights. He was trying to get the rights to the Robotech movie, and then Sony got it.
Bought it and then lost it. That's weird.
Yeah.
Okay, Sony got it. Okay.
Yeah, 2015 they got it from. Apparently he got it in 2007.
Oh, so he did get it and then lost it.
The wording was weird.
Okay.
I don't exactly know what went down, but I know he has a production company. He started making movies.
Oh, really?
Toby?
Yeah, he made Babylon, like an X-rated movie, but he's got like Margot Robbie, Brad Pitt are in it. So yeah.
Brad Pitt.
It did really well. He's apparently a pretty good director.
Margot Robbie.
Do you know her?
Yeah, she's the one that did Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's Harley.
Harley. Yeah, I like her. I just like her accent. Her real accent.
She has a real accent?
Yeah,
I haven't heard her.
I think she's Australian or one of them. Australian or British, one of them.
Let's see where Margot Robbie is.
We need to know. But as an aside, I brought this up to you last night, but I haven't told Neek. So they've changed the actors for all of the DC characters in the new coming up, except for Ezra Miller. Like the most problematic person on the planet right now.
Yeah.
He just went on a chaos tour like a couple months ago.
I was totally in the dark of this. What did Ezra do?
I think it charged with disorderly conduct and harassment. I remember that one.
March 2022.
Twice in Hawaii. He kept going to a karaoke bar and getting into fights.
Okay.
Gets a restraining order filed against him, and then arrested for second-degree assault, accused of grooming. There was a Native American daughter who was, I don't remember her age, but she went missing, and the family figured out that she was with him. Another parent came out with allegations in June. August, accused of burglary. 2022, Vermont State Police trying to get an emergency care order for a mother staying at his home.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just there's more.
It gets increases each year too.
Yeah.
I think he's on a quest to get arrested. He's like, let me see how many things I can do before I get arrested as a celebrity. And DC is like, this is fun.
But obviously Ezra's got a lot going on, some mental issues, but also this has been going on for a very long time. So it's just odd that after all this time nobody thought that maybe we shouldn't use him.
Yeah, maybe.
So they're like, we don't want to sink this ship, so let's use the one guy who could possibly ruin everything.
Yeah.
They don't talk about it. Just don't talk about it.
A part of me is like, maybe this is part of their marketing strategy.
So I was just thinking immediately, I was like, wait, all this publicity is good publicity, Paris Hilton?
Yeah. I saw some people were making memes about that whole thing because there's a Reverse Flash is like the arch enemy of Flash, and his whole thing is he's ultra petty, and they're saying, what if this whole thing is to be publicity for the fact that there's Reverse Flash out there, and that's what he's been LARPing as this whole time.
Oh my gosh, that would be amazing.
That'd be hilarious.
It's like that's why they never dropped him. That's why they tell all the people who try to arrest him, this is a secret. We'll pay you money if you keep it secret.
Like, maybe they're just gonna do a thing where it turns out he becomes Zoom in the end. He becomes Anti-Flash.
Yes. Oh my god. That's what I was thinking. That'd be perfect.
Some guy, but I actually got punched. It's a conversation.
Oh my gosh.
It's method acting.
Method acting. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I forget why I said that, but yeah, I wanted to ask you guys. There's a couple of actors who really like anime, and I'm just curious if you can guess the anime that they like.
Oh.
I feel it'd be unfair to you because you don't know that many animes. So how about I say the anime, describe it, and then you guess the actor. Is that better or worse? I don't know.
I think we're both on a terrible playing field at the same time. That would work.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a show called Cowboy Bebop. It's about basically a space cowboy, serial chain smoker guy, really relaxed, and it's about an adventure in space trying to find yourself kind of thing.
I thought he was a detective.
No. He's a bounty hunter.
Ah.
Who do you think likes that anime?
I do actually know, but I don't remember his name.
You actually know?
Yeah, because I thought we talked about this before.
Oh, yeah? What do you think?
No clue. Oh, LeBron James?
LeBron James.
I don't know the name. I think it's a guy, but I can't describe him because I don't know celebrities like that.
Keanu Reeves.
Oh, I don't know if Keanu Reeves can do expressive.
I'm happy right now.
I don't know. I feel like yeah, sometimes he is.
What have I've never seen this.
I've seen him expressive. Yeah, it's really weird.
It's weird.
Yeah, there was this reel where he was talking to, oh gosh, some reporters that they were interviewing him, and he was like saying, "You guys are the best. You're the I can't remember the name. What's the name? Your TBN, your BCN or something like that." Because they were trying to get tickets. It was like, give us tickets to get in there. It was like, no, you guys can get your tickets because you're whatever their name was. I can't remember. But he was all.
But now all I can think about is the only time I've seen him smile. You're breathtaking.
Oh yeah, you're breathtaking.
Let me hit you with a loop with this one. Which celebrity likes Naruto? And he tweeted a little image of him being Naruto on Twitter for himself.
This might be the one, not Cowboy Bebop now, but I don't know.
Yeah, you just keep saying things and I have no reference. Naruto. Yeah, I all I can think of is that boxer guy, but I don't think he would talk. It would be him.
Boxer guy.
That boxer. He's a boxer who
really likes anime and basically all of his fights. He's
Adesanya.
Adesanya. Is it mixed martial arts, not boxing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's Snoop Dogg.
Snoop Dogg!
What? Snoop Dogg was to be in Naruto!
Yeah,
is there a black character in Naruto that he could really be? That would be amazing.
There's a couple, yeah, actually.
Come on, man. Guys, live action Naruto, I would be down. I'd be down.
No, you wouldn't.
No, I know. But just for the fun of it, just to see that one scene with Snoop Dogg.
It's just Snoop Dogg on the screen of Naruto! Wow! That'd be incredible.
I made this one easier. What anime does Megan Fox like?
Megan Fox. Sailor Moon.
No, I was gonna say that. Sailor Moon.
Yes.
Yes, of course. Megan Fox. I feel like she's.
Girl.
Yeah, I was gonna say she's my hero.
Yes. Don't look.
Oh, I wasn't even paying attention.
Yeah, so for this part, I think it's time to go into Rose Rants.
No.
But because I think you said you didn't actually watch much recently, you said you had. What were we talking about before? We're talking about Akudama.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you were saying something about Akudama, and it says save for the podcast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, about how you can see how people might have fallen off of the series or not liked it as much.
Yeah, so I was just thinking, like, looking back at the episodes so far, I kept wondering from the very beginning, like, what could it be that would make this, like, not S tier in people's eyes, especially because it was so amazing to start, you know? And as the season has gone on, and we're getting so close to the end, and there's so many things that they have not answered and don't seem like they plan to, I'm like, I see. So there are certain things, like character backgrounds we were talking about, I think. Character backstories that would be like, it would be so easy to make this show that much better just to understand why are you like this, you know, or like maybe a hint towards the mechanics of the world, like they're like, why, like they're explained this happened, bomb, war, whatever. Why can people like get this strong? You know, or
Fallout question mark.
Yeah, even so, yeah, they could like not even quirk thing, just like certain things makes people strong. I don't know, or not just that. Also just like random plots, like things just being plot. Like that would be so easy to just explain it, or not explain like with words, but like give reasoning to it, that why did it happen like this. For example, the brother pushing what's her name into like
sister.
Go. Like,
I'm not going with you.
I'm gonna go. I have time to go pass something off to courier before I go get arrested. Like, really? Like, I'm holding out for that one, that maybe we'll have a reason why he did that. Like, I was theorizing that way it would take longer for them to try and go after her sister. So it would just give her some time, I guess. Which you could still stand to say that was it. You could just assume that. But little things like that I can see people just being like, this show's dumb. It's like they're losing so many great opportunities to make the show that much better. But it could just come down to the fact that it's anime only. Because it's anime only, right?
Yeah.
That they kind of made everything, and it's kind of like, I was about to do a programming analogy.
Hey, go ahead.
I don't know. No.
Okay.
Anyways, it's kind of like they've kind of wrote themselves into a corner, maybe. So that they made all of the episodes, and now they can't exactly go back and fix these little things without it cascading and making a bigger mess. You know what I mean? So they just kind of had to leave it as, it's just gonna be plot. That's what I'm thinking.
So storyboard weaknesses because they don't have manga to draw from.
Yeah.
You know.
Weird. I don't see those things, but that's also because of the way that I like anime. I like it when animes don't answer all of my questions. I enjoy that. Like, I like to theorize with the information that they've already given us in the world, why this is the way that might be, or stuff like that. So, like, my thought process is the reason why people are so super strong is maybe since they were super technologically advanced, maybe they had designer babies where they genetically altered people to be stronger, because we also know that they were genetically experimenting on people to make them immortal.
True.
But that's kind of what I filled in from just the information that we got, but they never said anything pointing to that. So I can see how people would be frustrated with that, but at the same time, I like that kind of thing. I like headcanons.
Yeah, I think that's a cool theory, sir. Do you want to say something?
No, go ahead.
I think it's a cool theory. I guess my reasoning is that it's hard to make that leap for everybody. And I think you kind of have to, like, even if you're going to leave people to figure it out on their own, you still kind of have to leave a bit of a breadcrumb trail. Just a little bit. Like, for me, this world just feels like technologically advanced. I didn't even consider, like, oh yeah, designer babies, of course. That makes total sense.
Yeah.
It does when you think about it. But because I look and I just see normal people walking around with a whole tier above of Akudama and executioners. That's how it feels to me when I look at this world. And it doesn't feel like what would make sense, that it's just been a long time. This is where the world has developed to. There's been a lot of scientific, forward thinking and development, and people aren't really normal people. So maybe some sort of hint towards that would help. But then again, that's just a little thing. I don't really take it as like a big drawback, but I think it's because what I said before we started recording is all the little things that kind of just came together, and people maybe are not able to put their hands, like, put their finger and say, that's it, that's why I don't like it. Yeah. It's just a lot of things, and it just gives a feeling of this just doesn't stack up.
Yeah.
And so the problem is right now, because we're in episode 8, it's because she cut her hair. That was it.
Oh, no.
But I do kind of get what you're saying there with the Akudama seem like superhumans and they're living in a regular world. I think a part of it that's funny is I fill in the blanks, kind of like you're saying with the headcanon, is that with the public shows of murder and executioners being given the license to kill, I think a lot of it is everybody could do that, and they just don't, out of a fear of breaking the system. And that's why they put on these big shows of you can't do anything, you're powerless, you're underneath this kind of thing.
Like, they have the physical potential to be superhuman, but they just don't.
Yeah. Shows like this, it reminds me of Bakano, where it's a really good show. Once you start watching it, it's really fun. I think we have some of the most fun watching Akudama Drive. And the fan base just isn't there. Maybe it was at the time the show came out, because I will say watching a show after the release really hurts the viewership, because with Ranking of Kings was fairly popular. Like, I looked into it, it's a very popular show, and I wish I had caught the release of the new season when it did come out with the shorts. But if you go watch it now, people who are watching it are really enjoying it. So if you watch it with them, we probably would have had a very different experience with the comment section and stuff like that, and maybe get a different feeling. But yeah. Another show that I think has an issue where it's a really good thing that just didn't get to the public is Edge of Tomorrow. We watched that movie past Sunday with our parents. You weren't there for it, but I think you would really enjoy the movie.
Oh yeah, from the end that I caught, it looked really interesting.
Yeah, I think at one point in time you really wanted to see it.
I did.
But it was just a failure of marketing for it. I just wonder if something like that happened for Akudama Drive. I haven't had the time to look into it to see if that was the case. But sometimes you have a really good product and you just don't market it well. Which Edge of Tomorrow, everybody who saw it thought it was a really good movie. But there weren't a lot of people who saw it. Because they had a problem where they said Edge of Tomorrow, and the title just sounds very cliche, and it came out in a time where there was a lot of cliche movies. And so it really hurt the draw, and so they changed the title to Live, Die, Repeat. And so a lot of posters say Live, Die, Repeat, And people did start to get interested, but then there was confusion over Live, Die, Repeat versus Tomorrow.
Okay.
And people don't look past it. If they get confused, they move on.
Yeah.
And so it hurt a lot of their viewership.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think at the time there was a couple movies coming out with Tomorrow in the title. Like there was Tomorrowland, and then something else.
Yes, I remember.
Day after, not Day After Tomorrow.
No, that's an old one. Yeah, I do remember that because I remember when I saw Edge of Tomorrow and I was talking about it to somebody and I was calling that Tomorrowland, right? That's it. And it was like, no, that's a different show. I remember there was like a multiple shows with a similar Tomorrow thing going on, but that's a pity because it looked really interesting, and from what you guys were describing, it sounded really interesting. I think it's like a show that I would actually go sit and watch by myself, which is not a lot of shows.
I think you should. I think you'd really like it.
Yeah.
I immediately watched a reaction video of it from Blind Wave, and they were very into it too. I know, like, Rick is known to be the really critical one, and even he was like, this is a really interesting monster, alien type, and the more you learn about it is the more you want to see, like, a universe of this. But apparently it came from a manga that was relatively short. So I was going to look at that. It's called the After the Kill, I think, something like that, After the Kill. And yeah, it did really well, but it's a short manga, which it seems to be always the case, is when something's really, really good, you want to learn more about it. It turns out just like 2 pages. Obviously the manga's long.
Yeah, I know.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That's cool, I think that's the thing. A thing though is like if you have a really interesting concept, like really fascinating, it's very difficult to expound on that with the same level of fascination.
Yes, that's what I was thinking, and it brings me back to the thought we had last episode which is probably what happens to last Reacts cast.
Oh, okay.
Which was probably what happens to like these is maybe isekais or just like shows in general. They have this amazing intro, and you're like, whoa, and then the show is just It's because they have this brilliant idea, and it's like, oh my gosh, I know exactly how I'm gonna start this. I have this brilliant premise. I don't know what to do with it, basically. And I think that's what happens where they come up with this manga. And the good thing, like this particular manga, they didn't force it. They're like, I said all I need to say and I'm done, you know? But not a lot of people do that and they end up with trash.
You ever been disappointed like that? Like you watch a movie, read a book or manga or anything, and you start it and the premise is so interesting. They're like, I need to buy this and I want it. You do, and it evolved into regular trash. Ever had that?
Yeah, of course.
Oh yeah, I was saying, you're all about those Korean dramas, which is probably all about the premise, right?
Yeah, they just, yeah.
Well,
especially with like, because I almost always watch the romances, so they always have like, even if the guy is like more tough, like edgier kind of character, always becomes like this cinnamon bun teddy bear who's just putty in the girl's hands, which is, it's cute, but when it's every single series, it's just like, can we have something slightly different, please? Can he maybe not do like a pouty face right there, because that's kind of weird on a grown man wearing a biker vest and stuff, you know. It's like I just kind of out of the field. I wasn't prepared for that.
She likes the bad boys. I immediately thought of a book I read a long time ago. It was a young adult novel where the premise was super interesting. It was, I can't remember the name of the book, but the intro, I want to say the first 100 pages were actually really solid, where it was time travel existed, but it wasn't to me. Everyone understood if you went back and you did something, it actually had an effect on the future. So what they did is they had something called archivist or something, where you'd be highly trained, you'd learn like the language, the culture, and everything, and they'd send you back with basically a camera in your eyes, and you'd record everything. And then you go back to your regular time period, and they'd recreate everything there, so then people could like play in the area, like a video game almost. Or just learn from the environment. So you could a host of things, just whatever you do, don't change anything, because then everything is wrong. You know?
Wow, and then someone does it wrong.
Well, the main character, his whole thing is he goes in, he's like the best, he's like the son of a scientist who went missing. She went back in the past and never came back, they don't know what happened. And he really wants to get this job so that he could live up to her name, and he's so good at his job that everyone thinks he's going to be a prodigy. Then for the final test, apparently the test is so strict, if you fail, you're just out the whole school, no matter how many years you've been training. And he fails because he's supposed to, I might be messing this up, but I think he's supposed to talk to a specific person and then recall what he saw, and he goes to talk to a specific person, and then some lady's like, "Oh, I haven't seen you around here before," and so he failed because he messed up the scenario because he wasn't supposed to be interacted with. And apparently he looked over the archive footage a dozen times that was never supposed to happen, but no one would believe him and they kicked him out. And then it turns out he goes to the underworld and becomes a time thief. What they do is they go. Remember Loki when they went to Pompeii?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nothing would change there. He goes back to situations in time where a disaster happens, where nothing will be recovered, and he steals the valuables.
Oh.
So he goes volcano stuff like Pompeii. He actually goes there, and so he's untrackable. And apparently, eventually, the lady who he spoke to him was apparently herself a time thief who went into his own time test to mess him up, to get him fired so that he would get on this quest. And so this whole thing could happen.
Wow.
Yeah, and he's getting tracked the whole time. It's a really interesting premise. But then as soon as the premise stops, and then he finds out, oh wait, my mom's back at this time, I can go back and save her, it just becomes a regular young adult novel. And I was interested in the time thief aspect. Because the intro was setting up how he's this best thief and no one can find him.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it's just a regular young adult novel about finding his mom and turns like the Hunger Games kind of thing.
Oh.
Okay.
I just like, okay.
Dang it.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed that I didn't read it.
Yeah. I feel like, I think I did read the entire book, but it was just, by the end of it, it was just so, predictable. I knew this was going to happen. Of course this happens because this happens in every book.
Oh, wow.
But
that's cool.
I would recommend that book just for
the beginning.
It was so
Read
cool.
up to page 430 and stop.
But yeah. Do you have any or
Oh,
examples of
like you saw something wild you and then you watched it and it wasn't what you thought it was going to be?
I had a book that I had read, but it was I don't have the same memory about like fiction things like you guys. It was, I feel like it was something about like some sci-fi book, but it was like a part 1 of 3, so I didn't actually get to read all of them. But I read part of the first one because it started getting annoying. It began really well. I can't tell you what the premise was, but I really liked it. I think it was like it was Bandwidth. It was not a well-known writer.
Yeah.
It was like I was just kind of on my reading binge. I was just trying to find interesting books on Amazon, and it was a free. The thing they give you a free first one, buy the next ones.
Yeah.
And it was really great. It started out very interesting, and then like not even that far in, it was starting to just become very gnawing. Like I don't even want to keep reading anymore.
Yeah.
Why? What do you mean?
Like it I don't know. Like maybe tropey, cliche, kind of like.
Yeah.
It just it wasn't interesting. Like interesting. It was just sweet, or not even sweet and nice. Just like what is it? Like clawy. I don't know how to explain.
Cavities.
It's too sweet.
Yeah, not even sweet in concept. Just it wasn't. Not even boring. It's just I don't know how to explain.
I can tell.
It
Like
wasn't
everything turns out peachy. Is
maybe
it too
predictable.
peachy?
Predictable.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, it wasn't. It's like, oh, what's gonna happen next? You know, I wasn't looking forward to anything. So it's like, okay, that's good. I'm done here.
That was kind of the issue I had.
Yeah.
But a good thing came about that for me is my disappointment in that book was so immeasurable that when I went back, it was a library book I borrowed. When I went back to put it down, I was like, I gotta find something that was more interesting than that. And that's when I found Anthony Horowitz, and that's when I started reading the Alex Rider.
Alex Rider. Oh.
And now I've read the entire Alex Rider series up to Scorpio. I think there's been a couple more, but yeah.
Cool.
I very, very nearly started a book review YouTube channel because of how much I hated that first book. I wanted to just start talking about how crappy it was because I felt like they keep making these, and it's because nobody knows. So,
Nobody knows that we need to stop them.
yeah, it's literally that. So I gotta tell, like, surely more people feel the same way.
You know what? I think we're definitely related because I have this feeling about things sometimes. Like I
need to tell someone.
Yes, I'm like I want to make a video. Like it can be about something that I will never talk about ever again. But it's just this one time I just want to be an expert and to just talk about this.
Yeah.
Can you just find people to listen to me, please? YouTube help.
Yeah, it's like me and Clanad for the first year. Like I think I explained it to both of you like at least 4 times.
Yeah. I get flashbacks now when you say Clan because I know everything that happens now because you keep telling me.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely understand.
But yeah, also Margot Robbie is in fact from Australia.
That's right.
Glad we
got back around to that.
Put a bow on that.
It's all connected.
Yeah.
So I think with that we're gonna wrap up. So guys, thank you guys very much for being here. Guys, if you like your time here, please leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more. And remember, you can see these 2 weeks ahead if you look at Patreon down below. As well as below is the merchandise store where you can get clothing like the ones we're wearing right now. Thank you very much for being here. We'll see you in the city. Goodbye.
Bye.
One time the Dutch got so angry they ate their prime minister.
Yeah, you keep telling us.